there's a myriad of things. So I think first of all we have to go back to
writer. You are very well known for your teaching skills. Your students speak a whole lot about you.
Miss Nigeria competition.
I said, let's pick them up, let's take them back to Nigeria, and let's teach them a different kind of job.
My name is Elizabeth Awai. My guest today is a total package. She is an educationist. In fact, she's known as teacher of teachers. And she's been doing this since 1985. Up until now, she is an activist. In fact, that has actually taken her to a certain platform, which we will be discussing as the time rolls by. I like to see her as the princess of the land of Era in Kwara State North precisely. She has been a lecturer, she has been a visiting professor, she has been a whole lot of things. I also want to relate with her other side as a peace advocate. She is the country president and national representative as well of the POLAC. What does that mean? You'll sit back again and get to find out what it means and what it does for you and I. She has been a presidential candidate for a particular party. She will tell us herself when the time comes. And my guest I'm about to present. Her name is Ambassador Professor Fumilayo Adesoya Davies. Thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
I want to start from the very top, which is what caught me first. In 2019, you went in for a political pursuit to become the president of Nigeria under Abuja. And I'm wondering, how did you get that? What motivated you? What propelled you?
Great question. I'll say destiny. I think it must have been destiny, because by the time I ventured into politics from the academia, an average person thought I was going to end up as an aspirant, but I ended up as a candidate. As at the time we had the CUPP arrangement and they were like, step down for Tico, merger with CUPP. Even INEC said it was late, your name was already there to be voted for. And beautifully, a lot of my students, a number of them, were even calling me when I was like, I'm going to step down. Was they going to vote for you anyway? So it was great that I had the endorsement of National Association of Nigerian Students. That was a big one. And I've always and usually had this dream that one day a woman will rule Nigeria. I still have that dream. But then I used to say the dream is now, the way I said it in 2023.
Now my question again is, there are a lot of things I think I want to have happen, and sometimes I don't think I'm the one to do it. Sometimes again I think I'm the one to do it, but I'm so scared to do it. But you actually have jumped across all of these my obstacles. How was the fight for you? And were you ever scared at any point?
I wasn't really scared, also because of the motivation. The motivation was as an academic, as a lecturer. I started lecturing as a corper from the youth service, 1985. And because I read English language, I was thrown to a GS class to teach students. So my class way back then was like 800 students. Yeah, over time I became Director General Studies. That means my class is not that 40, 50, 60. My class is usually the project your voice class of largeness. So each time they graduate 4 years later, I see them 6 years, 8 years, and I'm not just happy what my students will becoming. They're going to tell me, Mom, we don't have a job yet. Mom, life is not like your days. And I'm just like, can Nigeria give to my students just what I had at University of Ife in the 80s, that ticket to eat my chicken on Sunday? Can we have the scholarship? Can we just have things work the way it worked in our days. So my motivation of give a life to the youth was so strong. I wasn't just scared at all. It was like one of my campaign lines was power to the women, power to the youths.
Yes, sir.
Because in Yoruba tradition, when it's time to share whatever a father has to the children, they'll just share whatever the father has according to the number of wives. And once that is done, you know, in polygamy, it is gone round to all the children. So I always nursed the idea that once you want to give power to the youth, just give it to their mother. So I know that if
that's a good one.
Yeah, if a woman is just an asurok, then killing of people, this massive killing. A woman is the man with a womb. No, you can't just keep killing if I'm in power. I'm going to import electrocuting chairs. You kill people badly, sadly. I'll send you to God gently, more quietly. So with a mother there, we might manage easily insecurity. It might just be easy. Like at times when I walk around, even in Abuja, I see the bogus houses. I'm just like, why can't they just do this as low-cost, one-bedroom houses in the villages for sanity of the people? To let, for sale. And nobody's living in those big houses. Maybe I would have just said, any house that you can't occupy in 5 years belongs to the government. Power to a woman is functional. It's like anything you give to a woman, any seed, they say the woman makes big.
In the course of your job, you've been able to move around, Nigeria, moved around outside Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and all of that. Now, a lot of times, Nigerians' educational system is, being, do I say trampled upon? I'm not sure, but a lot of people look down on it. Can you give me comparative analysis and tell us where we're doing it wrong or right?
That's a recent development. While we were younger in the 60s, our universities were vibrant. While we were younger in our university days in the 80s, I was at University of Ife. I was in one day Abimbola's class. I was in Wole Soyinka's class because I was in African Studies. I mean, those are just the names, whether in Nigeria or out of Nigeria. That's why I said what I was clamoring for was just get us back to where we're coming from. So education in those days, in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, was just good. We were growing steadily after independence. It's just from the 90s, everything got deteriorated. Nigeria has changed. Nigeria has changed. In fact, I'll use a Yoruba proverb that says, means when you see a man that is bent, and then you look at the leg of the man, and this problem is not actually the head or the body. The problem of the man is the leg already. Then every other thing about that person, including what you carry on your head, is bent. So when you start complaining, oh, this bent man, why is the luggage bent? The man is bent. So the situation grew, bent, 90s, 2000s, and now we are where we are. And now comparatively, it's not easy again to compare our educational system with Ghana. I was a dean in Ghana, Regent University of Science and Technology, a visiting professor to University of Cape Coast. Yeah, the standard of education there, because of the peace, the serenity, availability of light, the environment added up to what they now get in their education.
All right, what can we do to remedy the situation? Because we need to be on our A game at all points.
We need a country that is security-wise sound, that when a child is going to the school, especially to higher institution, we are not expecting a case in which there's going to be fighting, acrimony. We're not expecting a case in which we're going to hear that in a particular university, because a student said something, the student was slaughtered. These are extreme cases. So to me, what is even important now, and most important in our education system, is the fact that a child is going to school and the child is safe.
True.
It's when you are alive, you now talk about quality of education itself.
These days, we notice that discipline in schools are really at the barest minimum. Not even
Right.
just the university, primary level, you can't cane a child. You're an educationist. I'd like to know, for me, I got a lot of it because I was a very troublesome child growing up. But it's no more. It's not happening. What can we do? Or is it even the right thing to do?
We need to go back to where we're coming from. In our days, my parents were teachers too. And my dad, is my father's house they bring any child that will refuse to be trained. My dad would say, I'm going to cane the child with blala. And daddy does 6 blalas, daddy does 12 blalas, daddy does 24 blalas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he wears a short knicker, and they bring kids that won't get trained with their parents to our home, and they get the blalas in their number. So I believe in the blalas. We're in Nigeria, and some of us could be very strong. Some of these children, we really need to break them. Yes, with a lot of love.
The cane and the carrot.
plenty, yes, discipline.
All right,
to
they always
balance.
say be firm and fair. Okay. All right, I would want to, delve a little bit to your peace advocate job, and particularly the POLAC. It's a positive livelihood center.
Yes.
What do they do? How do they transmit to
We
Elizabeth?
call it United Nations POLAC. By the grace of God, I'm currently the country president. If a few friends of mine were teasing me when I was made president, that same 2019 when I contested presidency, and they said to me she couldn't get the presidency of Nigeria,
And she got
but
the
she got the presidency of United Nations Peace
Well,
Advocate, and whichever president is still a president though.
Definitely.
So we give awards not to people that we feel should do something, but to people that have already contributed to the society. So if we watch you, if we watch your career, if we watch your contribution to the society, we'll invite you over, we dedicate you, we celebrate you. When inflation of United Nations, Millennium Goals of ECOWAS, and that's what we focus on. We focus on those basic Millennium Goals that we're expecting to be fulfilled. And one of such goals is also women empowerment.
Women empowerment.
Yes.
Okay, I was going to get to that. But I'm interested in your personality as a writer. I know you authored and co-authored a book, Jonathan Sambo Presidency in Nigeria. It was, I think I heard it was displayed by the National University Commission around the different schools in Nigeria. So, with the much you write, some people say that Nigerians don't read anymore. How do you, collect yourself to be able to write? And what's your assessment of our reading strength as of today?
Yeah, it's a general saying, if you want to hide anything, put it in a book. And they said, again, to a Nigerian or to a black man, just fix it in a book. But it's not as bad as that. I belong to several reading clubs and book clubs. I feel Nigerians will still read, especially in these days of having access to our WhatsApp, Facebook, and alternatives to the book itself, e-versions of books to read our books. We're being compelled by the ICT current drive to read. So Even if you move around at times, I watch people when I go out busy with their phones, not most times talking to people. They're just busy looking at news headlines, busy. We isolate ourselves these days until, hey, friend, talk to me. I said, no, I'm reading Newsline. So I love writing a lot. Writing is one of my hobbies. I have over 100 publications. I have over 500 poems. I remember during COVID, I wrote about 25 books. In COVID, I did collection of poems on COVID itself because we were stuck to stay in. So you will now be a friend to yourself. Your what is in you
You
had
put your
to come
thoughts on
out.
papers.
So when we also had this invitation on a constitution review, when Muhammadu Buhari's government said they were not going to work on Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's restructuring, they will rather constitution review to improve on Nigeria political system. I remember doing about 35 positional papers on constitution review, about 12 women, about 12 for the Christians, about 12 for peace advocacy. So I did a lot of writing, published them, we moved them to the House of Assembly. I think they were asking us for 75 copies of each, and a few of my friends just saw my heaping bags and like that. Even I embarrassed them at the House of Assembly. They were just like, "Madam, can you go bind them? We don't want to see each of them. Can you give us as booklets?" You know, my book on Jonathan Sambo presidency, a symbol of peace, unity, and progress, forward by General Gowan, was my contribution to how I perceived the presidency of Jonathan, who happens to be a colleague of mine in the university.
You were in school together?
Not really. We lectured together.
Okay.
Where I currently lecture is Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, and it was formerly River State College of Education, and that was where President Jonathan lectured for 10 years, and that was where Patience Jonathan actually had our NCA too. So it was just like my colleague in power and a loving colleague to a quiet guy that we even never knew. So we had that collection of 12 chapters on Jonathan Sambo presidency, and I think my own chapter was on an analysis of his agenda, and then an analysis of some of his speeches, a collection of speeches of Goodluck Jonathan. And by the time I took them to then Professor Koji in charge of NUC, and he saw the copies of the book, he was just like, wow, this is going to every university in Nigeria, this is going to every library in Nigeria. You have done an awesome work, and this is what we're expecting from all other lecturers, to always contribute to national development, not just sitting at the ivory towers in the quietness of the classroom. And I think exactly that was why the National Association of Nigerian Students also gave me the 2019 endorsement for presidency.
Speaking with you, one will see a lot of academic personality, activist, politician, and all of that. But amazingly, you're also something that one would like, you say for real? She is a pastor.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, how do you manage it?
You see, I really even did the pastor earlier than the others, as in, because of my nature, my creativity, my intelligence, I asked the question about God very early in life. I think at around age 7, I was asking my parents, what are we doing here? Who put us here? How did I come here?
Oh, yes.
So I was asking such mysterious questions, and my mom is usually like, they don't ask such questions as, how did you come to planet Earth? Okay, I shouldn't ask such questions. Okay, what do we do here? The person who put us here, what's the expectation? So
That's deep.
My mom will now get the Bible and tell me the Bible story of Adam and Eve. By the time I got to secondary school, Form 1, and I joined the Scripture Union.
Oh, SU.
Yeah, they're just like, for me it's now SU, and I'm just like, yeah, I need to connect to who sent us here, because whoever, this is my thought, whoever brought us here without taking permission can actually take us elsewhere without taking permission. And if they say it's going to take us into a fine place, why not? Into hell? No, I'm not going to do that.
No.
So I have this fear of God that the Bible calls the beginning of wisdom. So I knew I was going to have a great future because I was just straight. So life was beautiful and straight for me, and I had lots of love too. And then I was able to catch up with Jesus Christ easily. So I was looking for a pastor to marry, really.
And you got one?
Then I got an engineer pastor because we now met at the Scripture Union in the university at Ife in those days, courted for like 5 years, and then got married, and that was how I got to Paul Harcourt. And he worked and retired with Shell. So people will ask me, how can you be a Shell wife? And you both started a ministry. We started Agape Bible Church, Paul Harcourt. So you got a church, and then I was struggling with my PhD as I was struggling with the kids. So I was doing Shell wife, I was doing lecturer, I was doing PhD. Yeah. So I got used to really doing 2, 3, 4, 5 things together.
How do you wrap around it?
Because it was again passion and destiny. So church for me was plenty fun. Yeah, I'm going to start the women's group. I'm going to start the children's group. I'm going to do follow-up of sick people. At a point, it was quite lonely for me. It was quite demanding. But the more it gets lonely and demanding, the more I also think of getting other things to do.
But then when you want to say, okay, this is my me time, I need to do fun things, what do you do?
Yeah, everybody is grown up now and off me reasonably. My husband has retired from Shell and is now into full-time church work. So everybody is just reasonably off me. The university job is still intact there. And meeting with those students, my master's and PhD students, again, to me, it's just fun. I don't feel it's work. So the school work to me is part of relaxation. I have some great hobbies. I like to swim a lot. I remember sometime when I turned 50, they had said, Shell women should come and swim at Shell Paul Harcourt's pool. And I came first.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I love swimming. I love singing. Of course, as a church girl, I must really love singing. I like writing. I turn everything into poetry. I could just do 3, 4, 5 poems per day. And things that will also bother me.
Have you done one for today?
Yeah, maybe you're going to be the focus of my
I'll wait
today. And I'm just going to say, I got into the NTA and found a beauty queen.
Oh my God.
Amazingly, I wonder, on the planet Earth, for real, a Nigerian girl, fair, not even dark, awesome. But I know she must have been born by a black woman. You got it.
And my mother is black.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So
It's really fun to sit back and chat with you. And just before I leave, I want to ask you, I want to believe that there are no regrets, but if you had, opportunity again to speak to women who are, some of us are sitting somewhere but we're not comfortable and we still do not know what to do, what would be your advice?
If there's a woman as I speak now that is in trouble and a dilemma of what is life all about? What am I supposed to do with this, my life? My advice will be, locate yourself, identify yourself, be focused, determine what you want. Go for it. Forget about what will the society say? What will my family say? What will the people say? For once, own up to yourself. Stand tall. And you can start life again. When the tough time comes, the tough gets going. Yeah, people always believe I'm very quiet. My student will say, Mom, she's soft-spoken. Mom, she's gentle. But I'm tall inside. I'm resilient inside. Anything I want to say no to, I say, that's a no. I have sense of judgment. I have sense of what is right and wrong. I have sense of responsibility.
Well, I don't know. It's been really wonderful having these beautiful conversations with you, and I said when you go back to Port Harcourt, it will be a safe trip to you. And the children who are enjoying you, the students who are enjoying you, we missed out because I would have liked to have you as my lecturer when I went to school. There's no way my head will not open if you were talking to me. Thank you so much. So we've been speaking with the educator's educationist. If you ask me, she is an exceptional teacher. My guest has been wonderful. She is the ambassador, Professor Fumilayo Adesanya Davies. Thank you for staying out with us up until now. We believe that next week you have another exciting moment with another wonderful, beautiful woman.